Sports video games have been around since the dawn of video games themselves. The first ever video game was Tennis for Two, a sports game. As technology improved, developers started creating simulations of sports so that us regular people could feel the excitement professional athletes do when they posterize someone or catch a game-winning Hail Mary. Over the years, some all-time classic sports games have been developed, games that stand the test of time. Games that transcend the genre and become more than simply a game. These select titles become works of art, masterpieces, the likes of which we should be studying and observing behind glass in a museum. Here are, objectively, the top 5 greatest sports video games of all time. Any other opinion is wrong. Number 5, NBA Elite 11. This game didn't play around. The word elite is literally in the title. After bouncing back with NBA Live 10, EA Sports decided to create the greatest basketball video game ever made. Unfortunately for us, however, this game was simply too good to release. EA canceled it because they knew that no matter what they released after, they'd never be able to top it. I mean, come on, even Jesus inserted himself into this game. It's holy. Luckily, with the use of an emulator, you can play this game today and experience its greatness in 8K Ultra HD surround sound, 16 gigs RAM, HDR GeForce RTX Ti-80 Texas Instruments, AAA Duracell battery, Ultra Power 100, compatible iPhone 1A, 5-watt 1400 plus cable, 100% 1 Metro Blanco compatible iPhone 5.5C, 5S, 6 SE, 6S, 7.8X, XR, XS, XS Max, GoPro, Hero 1.2TB Xbox Series X, Dell UltraSharp 49 curved monitor, U4919DW, Sony HD C-3300R, 2.5-inch CCD HD Supermotion color camera, 1080p resolution Toshiba EM131A5C-SS, microwave oven with smart sensor, easy clean interior, eco mode and sound on off, 1.5 cubic feet stainless steel HP LaserJet Pro M404N monochrome laser printer with built-in Ethernet W1A52A GE Volusion E10 ultrasound machine, LG 23 cubic feet smart Wi-Fi enabled InstaView door-and-door counter depth refrigerator with Craft Ice Maker GFW 850 SP NRS GE 28-inch front-load steam washer 5.0 cubic feet with smart dispense. Number 4, Madden NFL 13. This is the Madden title that started it all. Madden 12 was too focused on franchise mode and the offline player, which was pretty lame and outdated. In comes Madden 13. EA said screw the offline player, and I'm glad. Ultimate Team finally got all the attention. Now on the home screen, it's easier than ever to find the awesome game mode. Boring old franchise mode was replaced with Connected Careers, which was absolutely fire. Now it was streamlined and more simplistic, which was nice for those of us who were overwhelmed by all the features of the old franchise modes. Remember how stupid Create a Team was? Luckily for us, EA removed it permanently in Madden 13, and they haven't brought it back since. Thank God. Everyone, and I mean everyone, hated that stupid feature. If I'm paying for a game, I want all the teams to already be created. Stop giving me work to do, am I right, fellas? Buying packs and unlocking new player cards to play with online was a great twist for a sports game. Of course, this wasn't the first Madden game with Ultimate Team, but it was the first to really bring the mode to the mainstream. Today, I couldn't live without it, and you likely couldn't either. We all have Madden 13 to thank for that. Number 3, NASCAR 21 Ignition. Yes, NASCAR is a sport, a motorsport to be exact, and this is the best NASCAR video game ever made. Honestly, it's the best racing video game ever made. First, you can drive around the garages and explore every single track. This has never been done before, and you can honestly spend hundreds of thousands of hours picking up every little detail the developers threw in there. Want to explore more? You can. Sometimes when you drive your car just right, you can actually explore new dimensions. Show me a sports game that lets you do that. Number 2, Madden NFL 22. Madden 22 is not only the best Madden of all time, it's also nearly the best video game of all time. This game has everything. From Ultimate Team, my favorite game mode, to The Yard, a super innovative game mode where you can play backyard-style football online with friends. Wow! It also has Superstar KO, another mode that is pretty similar but just as fun. And then there's Face of the Franchise, which is basically an entire AAA studio video game, something like Red Dead Redemption 2, also included. Yeah, I bet you thought Madden was simply about playing football, but no, it is so much more. The gameplay is super fun in Madden 22. You have X factors that activate. Epic win! Did I mention this game has updated rosters? Play with Joe Burrow. Play with the Super Bowl champion Rams. Play with any team you want. Franchise mode in Madden 22 is a blast. You can relocate your team, view stats, play games, and so much more. However, I don't really care for franchise mode. I'm more of an Ultimate Team kind of guy. Plus, this game has some awesome fun surprises. Look at this cool warped field, for example. Looks like someone invited Doctor Strange to the studio. Am I right, Marvel fans? Haha! Overall, Madden 22 is a love letter to the sport of football. You can tell the developers worked incredibly hard to deliver the greatest NFL video game experience yet. I haven't even touched NFL 2K5 in 20 years because that game sucks ass cheeks. Clint Oldenburg, give yourself a pat on the back. You deserve it. Anyone who's hating on this game is simply clout chasing and should just be ignored. EA Sports delivered us a masterpiece, and we must be thankful. Alright guys, it's time for number one. The number one sports game of all time is Shrek 2, The Game. This incredible, genre-bending, and expectation-defying game is easily the best sports game of all time, and honestly, the best video game of all time. First, it's based on Shrek 2, you know, the greatest movie of all time with the greatest climax ever. I watched that scene, I Need a Hero, recently. Jesus Christ, what perfection. I don't know what exactly it was, but that whole scene was nothing I had ever seen in a movie before. It was far-fetched, but in a good way. The powerful voice of the fairy godmother, whenever she roars, "Hit it!" The start of one of the best scenes to ever grace movies. The transitions between Shrek and the huge gingerbread man making their way to the castle, and the fairy godmother singing was perfectly placed. A massive party inside the castle. Meanwhile, the guards are doing their jobs to take down a huge piece of dough. Mongo's screaming like a dinosaur when he gets hit and starts kicking the gumdrop button back to them. The whole scene was just well paced. It was fast but balanced everything well. It's amazing every single time. Even ignoring that scene, this movie is still a cinematic masterpiece. When you look past the veil of the fairy tale elements, it's a story about a husband who wants to be the best man he can be for his wife. But because he's so different from what his in-laws expect, he feels like he has to change. The beautiful part about it is that he's so willing to sacrifice everything that he is to make his wife happy. He goes so far as to transform into something he's not. When he finally gets to ask his wife what she truly wants and tell her he's willing to change, he learns that he was already the best man he could be, and then they live happily ever after. And that's before analyzing the subtext, including the undertones of poverty and racial tension, the innuendos, the genuinely good pop culture references, and the subplot alluded to throughout the movie that his father-in-law was in fact just like him, and even had a similar arc. All in all, it's a 12 out of 10 movie, and I plan to watch it again and again and again. So you can imagine, a video game version of Shrek 2 would be just as great, but somehow it's even better. You can play as Shrek, Fiona, Donkey, or even the gingerbread man himself. Each character has their own moves, and you get to explore all the epic places within Shrek lore. This game makes every other sports game look like a joke. Except Madden 22, that game is pretty close. Anyways, this was the objective list of the top 5 greatest sports video games of all time. Thanks for watching.